Well, hey guys, Silly Tuck here. I don't know, I'm out of breath, that's weird. Start off a video like so yes, tonight we aren't live anywhere necessarily because this isn't TW. This is the 200 sub Q&A actuality thing. Yeah. So we only have 3 comments here. Come on, guys. Really? I understand the short notice of it, but I gave you a day, pretty much. That's time for both my European subscribers and my American subscribers to comment. And I'm a little disappointed, but of course, I'm not going to scold you people, because that would be weird. Why? You're going to be like, Mommy, some random man on the internet scolded me for not commenting on his video. What should I do? I feel violated. Yes, so we're going to hop right in to this Q&A type deal. So, here we go. What's been your best and worst experience since being on YouTube? Well, if you don't know, I started YouTube, actually, it was December of last year, so I think it might have been like the 30th or the 26th even, someday. It was someday, all right? I will definitely figure out what day it was, because we'll do a big channel anniversary thing then. Yeah. So, what has been our best and worst? Our best and worst? I always talk like that now, because I'm used to being with you guys in videos, necessarily. Necessarily isn't the right word there. If I pick apart my speech forever, we'll be here for the next 6 days. So let's just move on. What has been your best and worst experience since being on YouTube? I'm going to fix that. The best experience. Well, there's so many good experiences with YouTube. Obviously, finding people who are... Actually, you know what? No. I'll save that to last, because it's probably the strongest one out of all of them. Number one is finding people who like your content. Like 200 subs. By that I mean, it's finding an audience and knowing, hey, look, I can actually hold people's attention for more than like 2 seconds. That's pretty cool, eh? I got like 213 people to click a little button that says, I like what you do. So that's always nice to know, and whatnot. Another good thing about YouTube is being able to share my love of wrestling with you people. Like, I do this simply because, I love wrestling and I love making things, I guess. I don't know. I've always loved videos, making movies, as a little kid. I was one of those kids, but not to a giant extent. But I did definitely love... Yeah, I don't know where that was going. My definite overall best experience, though, and this isn't discredit to any of you people who have subscribed to me, because you guys are awesome. You guys are the reason why I still do this, realistically. Because if the channel growth wasn't as big as it was, I can't say I'd be as devoted as I am. And even then, I'm not that devoted, which kind of makes me feel like I'm being disloyal to you guys, which I'm going to try to stop, and I'm going to attempt to upload a whole bunch continuously from now here on out, forever. Well, not forever. Oh god, I've just set a giant deadline for myself. Not even a deadline, giant thing. So that's a thing. But definitely the best experience is meeting, I don't know what the hell to call it. My club? I don't know. I always call us a little group, a little collection. I don't know what the hell to call us. But you 3 know you are. Well, no, I'll just flat out say it. Dave, Putty, and Ben. You guys are great. I probably wouldn't be super invested in this channel either without you guys. Realistically, if I didn't have the support of those guys and whatnot, even though most of the support I get is, boo, that's a terrible idea, and I do it out of pure spite of being like, oh, screw you guys, I'll do it anyways. They've definitely allowed me to keep going. Because even as a YouTuber, there are points when you just question, why am I doing this again? Like, this doesn't benefit me. But, I don't know. It's like giving somebody something on Christmas. The joy that they experience makes you feel even more joyful. That was weird, but whatever. How many subs do you think you'll have this time next year? Well, if the statistics will tell you anything, 426. But I hope to have a lot more, because I hope at some point I can expand. I want to work on getting a stronger computer. I want to work on being able to do stuff with my Xboxes. Because as I did a little tiny thing with Mass Effect a little while ago, and that worked because I'm Elgato, and it's great, but I never use it because I just can't be arsed to. But the second I figured out how to realistically work it, I just dropped some money. For my Xbox One, which it can't. Yes, it is compatible for people who are like, well, maybe you didn't buy the right one. That's not why it's working, you dumbass. It's like, no. I do have the right one. It's just finding out which cords to plug in where, which you could easily look up. I just can't be arsed, as I said before. But hopefully a lot more. A lot more. Because, as you know, everything changes. Everything. Will you record Dirty 2K16? That's exactly what I was going on about. Dirty 2K16, that's one of the biggest things I want to do. Would you guys be interested in it? If so, would you guys be interested in seeing? I could do my career. I'd have to restart another one, which realistically wouldn't be the end of the world, but I can do it, yeah. Universe mode, which I'd have to restart my current universe mode, which is fine. We're only like 3 months in on this one, so that's fine. You just do random matches. I don't really like to do online stuff just because it's laggy, it doesn't work, etc. Or we could do something like Saturday Night's main event, Saturday Night Universe mode. You know what I'm talking about. That type deal. Because I think that'd be great. I did have a really, really neat idea with Matsudairo, as you can see right there, even commented, Putty, that to do something like that, but have it be like Seaverse. And I thought the idea of SWF and working like that, and I actually got a Steve Fraley call done, and I got a whole bunch of different stuff done. And after the Steve Fraley call was done, I was like, I'm not doing this for another 40 people to fill out the roster. But if you guys would be interested in that, and there was an audience, I could do that, or I could even do just normal wrestling, because I know that'll get millions more views. Not millions, though, because, come on, let's be honest here. I'm never cracking a million. What has been the match of the year for you thus far? Match of the year for me thus far was definitely... Ooh, this is hard, actually. There are 2 definite candidates. Both of them include John Cena. And going into this year, I would tell you John Cena is one of the worst things currently in pro wrestling. And coming out of this year, because realistically, we're at the end of the year. We're in the final month and a half. So John Cena is one of the only things keeping the WWE running. He's the only thing, realistically, that keeps me coming back there. And the fact that he's not there anymore drags everything on. Because the 2 things I'd look forward to on Raw were Rollins and Cena. And with Rollins out now, Cena not being around, everything kind of sucks. So that's a thing. I'm actually going to quickly restart this recording right here. Not cut this part out, obviously, because you guys are seeing it. But, what I normally do. So I'll be back in a sec, guys. Oh, there it is. And our final question from Dave, DS Designs, is will we ever kick Ben out of our group? And I don't think so, Dave, because I think we need Ben in the group. It's just that other dynamic for everybody to beat on and argue with. And now, Atatuna, the first man to comment on this, and I thank you, Atatuna, because I think I scolded you violently for making me drop Sting in WCW. Never forget. Never forget. So to kick us off, we have with a broken freaking neck. And yeah, I know. I mean, I don't. So what do I think about the Benoit thing? Well, there we go. There's some serious shit to get into. What is there to think about it? A dude with obviously some kind of mental illness, whether it was caused by WWE or like wrestling, not WWE, you guys know what I mean. Like, I'm not, being one of those crazy people that are like, ooh, Vince McMahon like drugged Chris Benoit. Whether he was hurt by wrestling, because of course his finisher, the diving headbutt, that's the first thing I gotta look at for any mental head trauma type deal. But he could have been struggling with that all of his life, and you'd never know. Unless, like, of course, you were a friend with him or looked it up because you're just weird like that. Yeah, but there's not much to really say aside from crazy dude kills his family and then commits suicide. Yeah, it's a terrible, terrible thing. Yeah. Should he still be in the history books? I think yes, he should. Because if I was WWE at that point, I would not want to promote Chris Benoit either. I would be like, wow, this guy is a terrible business image. But I would do something a bit later when everything calmed down. And of course, I'd still acknowledge him in the history books the entire time. I just mean, I would use the Benoit thing as almost like a PSA for mental health. And as how messed up that sounds, like 3 people died because of it. I think it would do a lot of good for anything involving, the mental health type deal. Like, it'll get people talking about it. Like, isn't that what everybody wants about mental health? For people to talk, And, like, if you have mental health, seek help, And I think Benoit's incident could be a perfect example of it. But yeah, my first wrestling match. Well, I'll tell you this. SmackDown 2011. I am going to look it up right now. Google. Okay, no, not Google. SmackDown results. January 2011. And we will find out which show it was I first watched. Nope, wasn't this one. It's the one right after it, I'm pretty sure. So this would have been the 14th with a question mark. Yep, that's it right there. So my very first match was R-Truth and Rey Mysterio defeating Alberto Del Rio and Cody Rhodes. I think. No, that might be wrong. Yep. No, this was the show. Because I will always remember this show as the one with the core coming out and debuting. Wade Barrett attacked the Big Show last week. Just like he did before the Nexus, showed you don't operate alone. World's largest athlete for a giant game over chokeslam. Gabriel and Slater rushed in Barrett's aid after punching steel chair of Gabriel's hand. Looks like Show could overcome the odds before he could gain control. Show's overcome by his attackers. Then in a stunning move, Ezekiel Jackson storms the ring, body slams the world's largest athlete, adding insult to injury. Gabriel delivers a 450 splash to Fallen Giant. What's next for Barrett and the Superstars? He is drawn by his side. There's my first match, though. R-Truth and Rey Mysterio defeated Alberto Del Rio and Cody Rhodes. And I remember, actually do remember this. My very first reaction, because before I started watching wrestling, I played SVR09 for a couple of months. I think 2, or actually, it would have been like just under 2, actually, because I would have gotten it Christmas 2010, and I would have started watching not even 20 days later, I guess then, 19, jeez. Yeah, well, that's not even that long thinking about it, but it was in my head. It was a long time in my head. So I knew Rey Mysterio. I didn't know Alberto Del Rio was. I know who Cody Rhodes was. And R-Truth always puzzled me because when I was first introduced to wrestling, a friend overheard me talking about the game and was like, wait a minute, you know stuff about wrestling? And I was like, well, I play the game. I don't really know anything about it. And they were like, oh, well, you know, blah, 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 blah. You should watch SmackDown. It's on tonight. And I was like, oh, shit, where can I watch that? And he was like, oh, you know, Channel 410, because that's what we did back in the old days of Bell and whatnot else. And I watched it. I was entranced, but I remember, because he called me after the first match to make sure I wasn't scared away by anything. I remember I asked about R-Truth, and I said the greatest line in the history of great lines. What happened to JTG, and why is he going by R whatever? I'm just going to let that sink in. I promise you I'm intelligent. I promise you. Yeah, so there's my very first match. R-Truth and Rey Mysterio defeats Alberto Del Rio and Cody Rhodes. That was like the... So I only got to know Dashing Cody Rhodes for about a week. And then the transformation happened, and ever since then, wrestling has become probably one of the main focuses of my life. And I thank wrestling for basically everything. Well, no, I don't know. What the hell was I talking about? I'm stupid. I don't know what the hell I'm going on about. But I thank wrestling. I thank just everything in wrestling, because it's such an amazing thing. Yeah, so heading back over here, though, we have your favorite wrestling promotion now. I think, without a doubt, my favorite wrestling promotion now is NXT, if you can call it a promotion. Because as much as I do love me some Ring of Honor, I can never get around to watching it. TNA is just, what the hell? What even happened over there? WWE is in a position worse than it was in 94, where realistically, even 95, where realistically any kind of company, if they made a hard enough drive, could come out of nowhere. Watch out, watch out, watch out. RKO straight out of nowhere and take the top spot as the biggest company in America. And it wouldn't be hard to. So, what else can we get here? My favorite wrestler. This right here is a big, big, big thing. Because I divide my favorite wrestler into eras. But my favorite wrestler is different from who I think the GOAT is. Because I think the GOAT is obviously Shawn Michaels. He's the best ever. Nobody can top him in anything. Ever. But my favorite wrestler is, and this is going to be a big shock, because he's basically a scumbag, and I love him for it. But Phil Brooks, CM Punk, because I came in at a time in wrestling where everything was pretty much boring. Like, I initially gravitated towards The Miz. And even now, I call him one of my boys, as in OSW terms, where a boy is someone you like, but nobody else does, and they realistically are pretty terrible. But I love The Miz, because he's probably one of the best promos I've ever heard, ever. And that's why I like him. That's why I still do like him, even though it's what I just said. What the hell is wrong with me? Why can't I talk in anything but riddles? Yeah, but CM Punk, because I came into wrestling at a time where everything was pretty mundane, and boom, pipe bomb dropped, and I flipped shit. It was the greatest thing I'd ever seen ever. I felt like I was watching history, and I was. I watched history unfold in front of me, and I've never felt that again. The point where I said to myself, people will talk about this forever. And we're going to quickly be right back. So definitely, definitely CM Punk, because people can say he's overrated, but he's not. When people say, he wasn't really all that, he was all that. And in 2011, 2012, he was the shit. And he was the best in the world, period. Nobody at that point could match him on scale of intrigue, mic skill, wrestling ability. He was the best. Unquestionably. Moving on. What do we have? Your favorite match of all time? My favorite match of all time is WrestleMania 28, Brock Lesnar. Not Brock Lesnar. What the hell am I going on about? WrestleMania 28, Triple H versus The Undertaker. It's the best one ever, and I feel If there are two ways the streak would have gone out, either a Cena heel turn or DX doing it together, the super kick into pedigree. And I will always remember that moment when they hit that move where in my head I was like, wow, that's it. That's it. That's it. That's what end of an era means. It means the end of the streak. Because the tagline end of an era, it was always like, does that mean the end of Undertaker's streak? Are they all just going to retire after? And it turned out no and no. Because, I don't know, booking reasons. I don't know what the hell was up with that. But when it happened, one thing went off in my mind, and that was, holy shit. Holy shit, that's it. That's it. And that is always probably why Triple H will be one of my favorites forever, because my very first WrestleMania was WrestleMania 27. My very first pay-per-view was WrestleMania 27. And I will always remember the image of Triple H reversing the pedigree into one of his own. And yeah, I don't know. It gives me goosebumps thinking about it, because those two are honestly even then, 27s wasn't even that good, and I still just look at it so fondly. But definitely, yeah, Mania 28. I'm like just staring off in the distance thinking about this match. I don't know. It's the type of thing where if you saw it when it was on, and because Undertaker matches, they never hold up when you look at them afterwards. Because the big draw in Undertaker matches, most of the time, because now he's not just fighting at Mania, which is weird. I don't know what the hell happened to that. But the big draw to Undertaker's matches when he was only at Mania was, will he lose? And afterwards, you already know he's won. So you don't really care that much about the match. But if you saw it when it was live, when it was there, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you think it's just terrible or something, what the fuck is wrong with you? But yeah, it's one of the greatest things ever. This is when I get super passionate about wrestling because reasons. Do I think R-Truth is stupid? Who's R-Truth? You mean JTG? No, I don't think R-Truth is stupid. I have openly said I hate comedy gimmicks. I think there are people who can do comedy along with their actual gimmick, but I think comedy gimmicks doom a wrestler. I always call myself the Lance Storm of, I guess, my friend group on here because of that. I completely disagree with comedy gimmicks. I think they kill any type of push for a wrestler, and I think they hurt more than they help. That's not to mean Santino Marella, his type of deal, can't work, because Santino Marella was someone who had his own gimmick, but was funny about it. He was the Milan Miracle. He was supposed to be some, Italian dude who came out of the crowd and was basically like a people's champion, like The Rock, realistically. And he was funny with it, and it worked. And then there's something like, Bo Dallas, where I don't even know if you can call Bo Dallas a comedy gimmick. I would say so, yeah, because he just gets beat down all the time for laughs. So, yeah, I'd say so, where it just hurts him. But definitely, R-Truth isn't stupid at all. Probably one of my favorite wrestler gimmick type deal was Crazy R-Truth, because he was funny, he was intense, he was scary, he was everything. Yeah, moving on. Who can replace Seth Rollins? No one can, because Seth Rollins is Seth Rollins, and you can't replace him. Who can attempt to fill the role as champion, though? No one, because we don't have anyone to. Because that was the whole point of saying, Rollins, take the ball and go. The second he gets hurt, guess what? The ball is now falling. Oh, God, somebody catch it. Nobody's catching it. It's like, oh, God, we're all going to die. And now our ratings are slumping more than ever. So, you have two choices. Make new talent or keep using The Undertaker. And we all know what good old Vince McMahon loves to do. So, moving on, is the WWE fucked if Cena is gone, Brock doesn't give a shit anymore, and Rocky does more movies? WWE doesn't need Rocky. I quite actually don't care if he comes back ever. He's not needed. Brock, if Brock leaves, well, Brock won't leave now. If right now, currently, they approached The Rock and didn't come back, that would be fine. But if Brock just got up and left, now we're in trouble. If Cena did the exact same thing, sirens better be going off somewhere in Titan Towers saying, "Oh God, we're all going to die." So up next, Brain Buster, and I have to respond to that with Brain Buster. Do I really think WWE is going to be better with Triple H? No, because I feel like, well, I can't say that, because you'll never really know until we see it. From what I know, yes, because Triple H, of course, runs NXT, and what is the hottest thing right now in wrestling? NXT, 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 NXT. Excuse me. So he obviously knows how to book, how to give people proper creative direction. He's obviously basically the exact same thing Vince was when he was younger. And obviously things have changed with Vince. He's become less and less and less open to things. But I think Triple H will do... Yeah, because currently Vince McMahon now isn't obviously doing what's right for WWE. And I feel like Triple H could. Is El Nazi a good wrestler? Very, 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 a very good question, I guess. Somebody can look it up, I guess. I don't know. Does John Cena deserve to break Ric Flair's record with the most titles? Yeah, probably. By that, do I mean, does he deserve to break it? Yes, 1,000%. Do I want him to break it? No, probably not, because I think Ric Flair was a better wrestler than John Cena, but I feel like John Cena is a better performer than Ric Flair, if you know what I mean by that. How long is Batista's dick? That's a little weird and personal, sir. Is ROH good enough to replace TNA on Destination America, and are they going to survive longer than TNA? Yes and yes, because ROH is actually interesting, and they aren't dying slowly. Yeah. Is Lesnar stronger than Taz and Big Show together? In kayfabe or in real life? Because in kayfabe, I guess. I don't know. In real life, yes. Billion%. And now moving on to the final part of this video. Matsudairo's questions, and we'll get to those in a sec. Alright, and here we are. And opening things up, we have, why do you think that TNA's heyday existed? Okay, why do you think that TNA heyday exists a few years back? You worded that horribly, my good friend. What he's referring to is that I always boast about how back in 2008, TNA was poised to be able to do something. And honestly, TNA 2008 versus WWE 2015, it's hard to say who's better. Probably TNA, actually, because they had bigger stars. The reason why I think they were better overall, but reason why I think they were so great at that point, was because they were stealing talent from WWE while building their own talent. They had Christian Cage coming in, and I don't care what you people want to say, oh, he was a WWE guy first. Christian Cage was only a big, big main event star in TNA, so they made him. Booker T, of course, they didn't make him. He came in. Kurt Angle, they didn't make him, but I now associate Angle more with TNA than I do with WWE. They were pushing AJ Styles, Samoa Joe. They got Steiner in from WWE. RVD came in a little bit later. Jeff Hardy was around the corner. Actually, he might have even been there at that point. And then Bischoff and Hogan came in. Finally, great creative masterminds. Or so I thought. And then death. Lots of stabbing and death. And oh God. Oh God. Do I ever think there was a time when pro wrestling was good? This has been something we've also discussed. When pro wrestling was good. I think he means in WWE. So I'm going to respond to it like that. I think there was a time when pro wrestling was good in WWE. At least 2 points. And that would be the Hulkamania era, because simply we had nothing else to compare it to. And SmackDown 2003, 2004 area. Because they were the most solid overall things. New talent was always coming in. You always had that centerpiece, Lesnar and Hogan, respectively. in which people were built around, and it worked so well because nothing was ever uncertain. It was always, it doesn't matter because they'll handle it. If you told me that in 1985, like I was alive at that point, that WWF was going to at some point lose all of their stars and nearly die out twice, I would be like, yeah, bullshit. They've got Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan will live forever. There was never any type of uncertainty in that era, and I think that's why it's great because they were risk takers. Vince was at that point, as in he set boundaries for what people couldn't do. He was the one who set them, so he realistically could do whatever he felt like and said, there, you can't do that now. You can do this and that and that. And the reason why Heyman was so good was because he challenged everything that Vince thought wrestling was as he adapted over time. Because Vince slowly over time, you'll see, becomes less and less and less and less and less and less and less of a risk taker. And realistically, when people say Vince McMahon is a risk taker for doing WrestleMania, you're completely wrong. And I don't know where I've mentioned this before. I may have even actually just heard it. But Vince McMahon is not a risk taker when it comes to WrestleMania because he embellished it with so many celebrities, so many wrestlers. It couldn't have been a risk. He never would have taken it if he didn't know it would pan out. I promise you that. I don't know what you mean compared to other TV shows. Sorry, Putty. I should ask you about that earlier. Is there a place for big men in modern pro wrestling? Yes, there are. And there are two names that I think of when I think of big men currently in pro wrestling. And there are two different, models, I want to say, when it comes to big men in pro wrestling. You have Samoa Joe, the guy who can do anything that a little guy can, but he's bigger and stronger. And that altogether is magic. When you have a big guy who can go out there and run with the little guys, everything works. And you have guys like, I'll say it, damn it, Baron Corbin. The big brute. When you think of a giant, you think of Baron Corbin. Because he's a big guy with menace. In TW terms, I guess. Yeah, he's got really high menace. But he's just a scary dude who beats the shit out of people and walks away. All right, moving on. Do you think El Generico will ever get to the WWE? I don't think so. Just like the Sami Zayn guy, whatever the hell his name is doing quite okay in there, and I don't think they really need another clone of him realistically. So no, I don't think El Generico will ever get to WWE. Has Generico even done any work since like 2012 or something like that? I don't even know. That's weird. Will Triple H fix most problems that in the E? I've just mentioned that up there. What's my problem with Puro? My problem with Puro isn't that Puro was bad. It's just I find it stupid. I don't understand how any of it works. And not because I've never wanted to. It's because I don't feel like it's easy enough to understand. I feel like you'd have to be, brought into it very quickly and told how everything works very quickly. You basically need a guide. Why do I watch tour shows? Because it's the only thing I watch of Puro, and even after I feel sick. Is Ben dumb? Yes. Is Dave dumb? No. Are you dumb? Am I dumb? Is Putty dumb? I don't know how to say that. Probably. Why are all of your friends cheaters? That's because you're all fucking crazy. So, that was the 200 sub special thingy. Wish we got a couple more comments, but you know what? It works, fellas. Thank you guys so much for everything. 200 subs is a huge thing. Huge milestone. Just saying. You got to hit 200 before you hit 300. 300 and 400. 400 and 500, etc. You go on with that forever. So, thank you guys so much. So much. And yeah. I will probably upload more because I don't know what the hell else to say. But yeah, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Yeah, this is Silly Tuck. Signing out.